back and welcome back to another good episode of some Sports for the Culture. Today I'll be your host, Dumelo Vagu, and we're gonna start off by with Bryce. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Y'all know what it is, man. At Bryce XXV double I, aka Mr. Big Leaguer, aka always in the right place at the right time, man. It's good to be back with y'all fellas, man. I missed y'all last week.
Same here, my boy. And Rome, go ahead. Your turn. Introduce yourself. Let these people know.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Rome. That's Young Rome 22 on all the socials, like you already know. We got a lot of sports to get into, man. This bubble playoffs is popping, man. Let's get to it.
All right. T.
Hey man, T Boogie, IG, Instagram, follow me, good ass sports, man. You know what time it is, man. Let's go. Hey, as always, wash your hands, wash your ass.
Major key.
Always. Before
All
the
right.
pandemic.
Factual. Now that the NBA playoff has begun, and prior to it, we all had a couple of MVP favorites in the bubbles, some improvement from some players that we never seen improve so in a high level. Guys, let's break down the NBA playoff right now. From what we've seen so far in the last 2 days, from today to tonight, what's currently going on, and yesterday, any surprise plays so far? Any surprise matchups? Rome?
Man, my biggest surprise so far, man, has got to be the Magic beating the Bucks, bro. Like I didn't see that coming. We were talking a little bit in pre-production. That might have been the shot that the Magic's had. That might have been all they got. But I definitely didn't see that coming. That's my biggest surprise so far. Not too much stuff has been surprising though.
T?
Uh Yesterday, no surprises. Today, who knows? Who knows? Lakers and you know what I'm saying, Portland are playing right now. But Orlando probably is the biggest surprise. I mean, no one expects a 8 to win game one. But let's put this in perspective. That's not a road game. It's not a home game. It's a neutral court. Orlando came out, looked like they wanted it a little bit more. I'd rather the Bucks take their lumps right now and wake up than, take that L down the road when they got to play a better team like the Raptors.
Hey, shout out to the Raps, man. Y'all saw what they did. No money still on them coming out the East. But, man, I think y'all hitting on the most obvious of the surprises. But a surprise that I wasn't really expecting was that Utah Jazz, man. Utah Jazz, courtesy of Donovan Mitchell, they showed out. They showed out big time. And 57 points from Mitchell. I mean, I think everybody was kind of surprised when they when they checked the scoreboard. Seeing Donovan Mitchell had the third most points ever in a playoff game. That's crazy. That's crazy to expect. So I think that's my biggest surprise outside of obviously the Orlando Magic getting it done. I don't think nobody expected that, especially my man in the bottom right.
I mean, it's no secret I'm a Bucks fan, but I'm not worried about it. I mean, if the series goes 4-1, 4-2, it still doesn't matter. We go to the next round, man. I think it's easy to overlook a team like Orlando. I mean, I know I would. I'd still be, swimming in my pool, whatever they got in the bubble. I wouldn't be worried about Markelle Fultz and them. Like,
Wow. So no one's gonna say how good Philly played over yesterday. I really thought Philly's gonna get trashed, man. Nick, if you're watching, yo. Part of my friends last week talking super spicy about Embiid, man. But check him out, man. Played a good game, but besides the turnovers, he gave us a decent game.
You thought Philly played good?
I look how close the game was.
I feel like Boston was coasting, and Philly has no chance. That's what that game showed me. Philly has no chance without Ben Simmons. If they get swept, I wouldn't be surprised, man. They get one game max. It's about time. They're gonna have to do something, man. I think Nick wants to fire the coach. I think everybody in Philly wants to fire the coach. What we say last week, fire the coach. You said trade Embiid. I think Rome said sell a franchise. Philly's done though. Philly's still done.
Hey, look, this is me sticking a fork into the Philadelphia 76ers, man. It's over for them. I tried to tell y'all last week, man. Hey, Ben Simmons getting hurt. What they gonna do now? I mean, I'm hearing people talking about trading trading their cornerstones now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Philly fans, they real fickle. I see, real fickle.
Hey, I do want to talk about
Go
something
ahead.
I did notice real quick. And it did surprise me a little bit. It wasn't my biggest surprise, but it surprised me. Luka kind of played well if you're just looking at, the points, the rebounds, assists, that sort of thing. But my man had 11 turnovers, and that's Paul George and Kawhi, man. Like, those guys are monsters. I expected Luka to put up a better showing in that. I mean, it's hard to argue against 42 points, but they had no shot. I mean, no shot in that game.
Hold on. Now you're talking a lot of spicy right now. You're talking Popeye chicken sandwich spicy right now. Hey, listen, man. If nobody here is gonna be like how soft the ref was in that call with Porzingis, like Porzingis
that
would
was
have been a
crazy.
different factor in that game. Look how close it was. It was back and forth in the fourth quarter between Dallas and the Clippers. Were we not saying the Clippers should be blowing everybody out the park?
Nah, I don't think they're gonna blow everybody out. They don't even have Montrezl Harrell back yet. I think they're just gonna beat teams, and I wasn't impressed with what I saw from the Mavericks, man. They look soft.
AT, man, I feel like me and you've been talking about this over the past couple weeks, man, just privately, but it's levels to this NBA. It's levels to this skill level. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to knowing how to win. You can go out there and know how to get points, rebounds, and assists, but do you know how to get a W? And I think this bubble is exposing these vets. Like, shout out to my man Kyle Lowry. You would never say he's better than Luka Doncic, right? Skill for skill. Right. If I'm trying to get W's, I want Kyle Lowry over Luka Doncic. And I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people just hearing it on his face, but I think I think Kyle Lowry is better than Luka Doncic because he knows how to win. And winning means a lot, but in this age of analytics and numbers, man, winning starting to mean less and less when you start grading out these players.
We're talking about winning in the East or winning in the West?
Yeah, I'm talking about winning W's. I'm talking about gaining W's to that win-loss.
Well, all right.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. And that's my knock against Donovan Mitchell. I know he had 57, 57, right? He's a scorer. He's a volume shooter. And but I just don't see him as a winner.
Well, what do you think is that line? Like, what is it about a player that's a great player, that's great skill-wise? What is it that makes them not be able to win? Is it just experience? Because we've seen some guys, they get up there in age, they're in the league for a while. I mean, one that comes to mind, who I personally wouldn't say this about him, but he hasn't won big time in the playoffs, is Russell Westbrook. Puts up the greatest numbers, big time stats, but a lot of people don't see him as that winner when it comes to those moments. You know what I'm saying? What is it that makes that could turn that player into that type of winner, man? Because obviously it's not just skills alone.
It just takes getting over the hump, in my opinion. I mean, when you got a player like that, Russell Westbrook reminds me a lot of Peyton Manning before he won the chip. Like, all the numbers, all the talent, you just didn't get the W. And sometimes that factors outside of just you. You could be doing everything you need to be doing, but if the rest of the team isn't holding it down, then that'll hold you back as an individual. But I think Westbrook is going to change that narrative with these playoffs.
Facts, I'm with you.
Is Westbrook changing the narrative, or is Harden changing the form?
Hey, somebody's going to change it.
You got the same narrative, so you get one for all for one.
So what are our predictions so far in these playoffs? Who's getting out of what round?
Hey, I'm predicting some sweeps, man. I hope y'all got some brooms ready.
Yeah, I can see that, but I think T brought up a good point early on, man. There's no home games right now in this bubble. It's no home games, so teams are going to get caught off guard. And I don't know, man. I think we will see some sweeps, but I can even see a team like the Blazers pushing that series just because there's none of those factors that we're used to, man, those extra momentum factors.
So I agree, right? But I think it's going to go in a slightly different direction because of that. Because there's no home field advantage, I feel like if Portland had a chance to go back to Portland, right, and their fans are going crazy, Dame's doing all this, then that atmosphere creates a little bit of a hardship for the team they're playing. But the fact that it's all even, your talent should be able to shine through, and whoever's got the best baller should be able to win, in my opinion. So I'm predicting sweeps because of the lack of the home field advantage or home court advantage.
So what happens with the Lakers? Because I think Portland might have a better starting five than the Lakers.
That's debatable. That's definitely debatable. But I could see that. I think originally I had that game going 5, Lakers in 5, but I'm gonna say Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6. I think Portland's gonna push them, but I think Bron's gonna want to get out that first round without going to 7 games. So he's gonna have to step up. He's gonna have to be the X factor. I know that's not typically his forte, but he can do it when the time calls, and he's gonna need to be that. I don't want to compare him to nobody crazy, but he's gonna need to have that different type of mentality, if you know what I'm saying.
I feel you. So do y'all think any low seeds are gonna win? Any upsets?
Yeah, I got if Luka Doncic could play a lot better. I got the Mavericks as my sleeper, and besides them, shit, who else? Who else besides Portland and the Mavericks? Who do we really see losing?
Well,
I got Miami winning. I got Miami with the sweep against the Pacers.
Well, one series I'm gonna have my eye on, and I know in this first game it didn't look too promising for this team, but you know we got this Rockets Thunder matchup, and Russell Westbrook's not available right now for the Rockets. I'm not sure when he's coming back, but they gonna need him. They gonna need him, and if they don't have him the whole time, I could see Chris Paul pushing that series 7. And if you got Chris Paul pushing the series to 7 games, man, I don't know. You never know what could happen in that 7. So that's one of the series I could see possibly going either way. But that's really dependent on Russell Westbrook not coming back. But we'll see if he rejoins the lineup with that quad.
Yeah, I'm just not banking on Gallinari to win a playoff series.
Mm-mm.
Pardon me.
Yeah, Gallinari, yeah, I feel that.
I mean, the guy's a baller, but nah. See you next year outside the bubble, bro.
So fellas, still keeping the topic about the bubbles. Who's our MVP? Who's our most improved? Who's our defensive player? Let's start off with the MVP. Who's our MVP coming out of the bubble into the playoffs?
All right, we talked about this a little bit last week, and I got swayed over, man. It's got to be Dame, right? Like I was thinking about it earlier, and when this is all said and done, right? When this is in the history books, and we look back on this 10, 15, 20 years, what's the biggest thing we're gonna remember out the bubble? Dame. Dame got me the most excited. He got us all talking about all this kind of stuff. So to me, that screams most valuable. It's got to be Dame for MVP.
I couldn't agree more with that, man. I mean, Dame Lillard showed why he is an elite baller. Now, the thing about it is, I can't have it both ways. Y'all know how I feel about this winning thing, and the Blazers did not win a lot this season. So, I mean, I'm going to put that at Dame Lillard's feet directly. But one thing about it is, when the thing I love about Dame is when the lights shine the brightest, you got something to shy away from it, and you got something that rise to the occasion, man. And maybe those regular season lights just not bright enough for my boy Dame Dollar. I don't know.
Look, man, I hear y'all, but I'm going Book. 8 games in the bubble, 8 wins. How are you not the MVP? Again, I said it last episode. It's the Suns. We haven't seen the Suns do much. It's just Book, man. It's Book.
It's Book. So I mean, it would have been unanimous if you would have went with Dame Dollar, but Book. I mean, there's a reason why Book isn't our MVP, man. Those 8 games didn't mean nothing. He got sent home.
I mean, he did everything possible that you could do. I mean, what more can you do other than win 8 games?
He didn't do everything possible.
Get in the playoffs.
With a couple people in the bubble.
I mean, give the guy a couple vets like Carmelo. Give the guy hey, go ahead, Scrap.
Hey, check my man's blood alcohol levels, man. Somebody.
0.00 alcohol free.
Oh man, but yeah, man. I to me it's a 1A 1B situation, but I think 1A is Devin Booker, man. He just got it done.
Yeah, I can see it being a 1A 1B, man. I don't want to throw no shade on Book. I just feel like when I look back on this in 20 years, it's going to be more so about Dame.
Yeah. Now Dame proving that he that dude, man. Now what could really just will vault Dame over the top is if he mess around and get a couple dubs against the Lakers, man. Now, if he pull out, hey yo, bro, honestly, bro, if he pulls out one W against the Lakers, that's going to count, not to me personally, but to a lot of people, that's going to count like it went 7. Him just pulling off one. They're going to hype it up like he went so crazy. And on top of that, you got Skip Bayless continuing to stir the pot. Lakers in 4. All this talk about Lakers in 4, man. Hey, they ain't walk away with a couple wins, man. It might equal more than a usual one win in the series. I don't know.
I mean, Dame is up at half. He's going to get one win. He might get 3. I mean, I really think this is AD's team. I've been talking to my boy, man, DJ Carnage, man, good friend of mine, big time Lakers fan, and he's even worried about the Lakers. Basically, LeBron's getting old, and AD has to carry the team, but he's inconsistent. Like, I don't think you can go to AD for a bucket every single time, and you can go to Dame for a bucket. You can go to Melo for a bucket. You can go to CJ McCollum for a bucket. You can even go to Nurkic for a bucket. That stops after Bron and AD. Maybe that's all it takes. I mean, maybe that's all it takes. If you played against the Lakers in 2K, that's all people do. So maybe that's all it takes.
Hey, he's the king for a reason, man. You keep doubting him, bro. I've been on that train where you just doubt Bron, bro. Like he's gonna make it happen. He's gonna make it happen.
Ned Stark was the king too. Nah, he wasn't the king. He wasn't the king. He wasn't the king. Rob Baratheon was the king, but
he got mad jokes.
He was my king.
I think with this Bron thing, man, and Rome, man, I think you bring a great point, man. Ain't no point of doubting Bron because he proves the doubt is wrong. He's been known for that. But one thing I'll say is that this playoff series is the most unique moment in LeBron's career. I mean, obviously, you know, as your career ages, he's going to get like that. But right now, he has a real moment to solidify his legacy, man. You know, and if he comes out looking like a brand new player, then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be able to say he turned it on. And to know that somebody can turn it on and off, like we hear that all the time, like, oh, he turned it on, or he turned it off, he turned it on. But bro, if you can really turn it on and turn it off, that's real greatness. Like, you know, if he was really coasting at the end of this regular season during this bubble, he's all just coasting to turn it on right now. Oh man, that to me, that's next level greatness. So I'll be watching closely.
I mean, look, real time right now, Bron's 12, 8, and 10. Anthony Davis is 21 and 6. It's the first half. They're losing.
12, 8, and 10. He's turning it on. It sounds like the man is turning it on.
Yeah, 12, 8, and 10 at the half. And you saying they losing? It's a 1-point game, bro. It's a 1-point game.
I don't care if you 1 or 100. You're losing.
Hey, bro, I need a scoreboard. I need a scoreboard with T announcing scores like they losing by 10. I'm having
see how you try to spin that narrative like they he's got this, but they're still losing. Like it's 1 point, bro. It's 1 point.
It's 12, 8. It's 12, 8, and 10. It's not 13, 8, and 10.
Let's keep it going, fellas. So we talked about the MVP. Now let's talk about the most improved player into the bubble. Besides TJ Warren, the miracle man that came out of nowhere, who else is the most improved player in the bubble right now?
I mean, it's only one other answer, I feel like. I mean, to me, it's TJ Warren most improved. But, you know, there's one other guy that's just been sitting there with most minuscule numbers in the regular season, came out dropping 35, 36, and that's your boy Michael Porter Jr. Tons of hype for him coming out, injury plague coming out, but he's starting to show people, you know what all that hype was about. And I like to see it. I like to see it. He got a nice smooth game. I don't think I'm as high on him as some, you know what I'm saying? But he's my most improved. It's not TJ Warren.
G?
Michael Porter Jr. The guy is a stud, man. And I hate to give people their flowers before they earn them, but I think he's a up and coming legend. Like, it's nothing the guy can't do, man. I mean, he can shoot the three, can handle the ball. He's athletic. He just takes that team to the next level. They already had a star in Jamal Murray. Like, now you're giving him another superstar. He slid in the draft because of injury concerns, but without those injury concerns, he might have been 1 or 2 overall, and he's playing like it. So Michael Porter Jr., I mean, what is his points per game went up 15, 17 points, something crazy. But Michael Porter Jr. Other than that, man, the most improved got to be Good Ass Sports. We've been giving y'all that content in the bubble, man. We've been every week, man. Bryce told y'all about the Raptors. If you ain't listening, you're missing out. we the most improved in the bubble, to be honest with you.
No, Shadamas Bryce is working with us.
Hey, T is right, man. That was on the money, bro. Gas Sports definitely the most improved. As far as actual ballers, man, it's unanimous, man. I went Michael Porter Jr., bro. I thought about it a little bit, and I mean, y'all already broke it down, but yeah, my man, compared to before the bubble to now, it's pretty obvious. Him and TJ Warren were both my co-most improved.
I mean, yeah, Porter went from 7-4 to 22-8. I mean, that's all-star
improvement.
All-star numbers.
Improvement just for that was 2 months break, and now just imagine, let's say Denver don't go too far and they lose, right? Coming next year, Porter could be in the starting five, and that's just scary alone. Like, yo, you gotta steal because of a broken back, and now you just have probably in the future a top 10 player in the NBA. Can we say that, or am I reaching?
It's a little early for top 10, but I mean, top 20, top 20, top 25,
top 25, yeah,
for sure. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if he's what you guys have been telling me is, and like I said, I'm not as high on him as I feel like y'all are, but if he's what y'all have told me over the last week, then yeah, he got top 10 potential. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I think the Nuggets got 2 guys with top 10 potential because I throw Bo on that list too. Now I'm higher on Bo. That can come back to bite me right there. But hey, shout out to Bo, man. I gotta give my guy some love, man. Son of Manu.
Little Manu. I mean, I think Murray, Jokic, and Porter give you a big 3, man. And that's what you need in today's game. And Bobo gives them 4 and 5, I guess. If Bobo's what you say is.
Throwing a unicorn.
Bobo might be Darko, bro.
Hey, go ahead, bro. You would have been driving a little higher for that.
Oh, man.
All right, continuing on. All right, fellas. So who's a defensive player in the bubble right now?
We just said it. It's Bobo. Y'all seen them blocks.
All right, man.
Hey, my man, dog.
All right, man.
I thought you was about to say Taco. I was like, all right, even more.
I couldn't narrow it down to one guy I liked on defense. Other than maybe Jimmy Buckets, because he kind of slowed TJ Warren down a little bit and pretty much called it. But I'm gonna give it to the entire Raptors team, man. Like, they came into the bubble playing like it was already the playoffs, man. And if you really enjoy watching like the intricacies of basketball, the nuances, like the Raptors are a fun team to watch, man. Like, they get after it every night. Every guy brings it. That's rare to see in the NBA, man. They're not taking plays off. They're not taking possessions off. They're going after it, and they're earning their wins. I'm gonna give it to the whole Raptors.
I mean, I'll hop in, man. Me personally, I haven't seen too much defense. I mean, T, you make a good point saying that the Raptors, because that's probably really the only team that's really played like solid defense that I can think of. If I had to give it to a player, I would go Giannis for that headbutt. That was pretty nice. Man, I really don't have a defensive player for the bubble, man. Like, I thought about it, and nobody really stood out defensively to me.
It's 8 games.
Yeah, it's only 8 games. You know, it's not. Some of those guys were taking some games off too. So, as far as defensive player of the bubble, I'm giving it to Giannis just for the headbutt. I know that's a little silly, but that's what I got.
I'll take it.
Bryce?
Man, my answer stands, man. 8 games ain't enough for me to see no real defensive player in the bubble. No D-Pop. I'm going with my man Bo, man. I see that block.
Oh my God.
I seen that block. But really, honestly though, I mean, it's like I said, it's 8 games, man. I could pick a guy, you know, and I would just be picking a guy that is always good on defense. Like T said, Jimmy Butler. You know, maybe I would even look for Anthony Davis. You know, maybe I would even look if I go to low key. Kyle Lowry been strapping up. I'm not saying it's been defensive player. The bubble straps up, but it's 8 games. How am I really going to pick? I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in my absentee ballot and go with Bo for my
absentee
ballot.
Man. My write-in ballot, man. Let me write in and mail my vote in. But hey, keeping it pushing, man. Let's get out of the NBA for a minute. We've been in this bubble a little too long. I'm getting tired of the bubble, man. Hey, to another sport. One of my favorite sports, man. It's really been growing on me during this pandemic. And that's the UFC, man. We had one of the biggest fights in recent memory. The winner of this fight was going to become, the best heavyweight champion of all time. And it was between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. I hope I said that right. But Stipe came out on top in the decision. The judges ended up scoring it 4 rounds to 1, which I didn't really agree with. But I'm interested to see what you guys thought about that, because me and G were actually right next to each other watching the fight. So I'm gonna start with you, G. What do you think between Cormier and Stipe?
It was a great fight. I don't want to say it was. I can't really say it was a great fight neither. I'd say it's like in between. I felt like the other two matches prior to that were a lot better. I mean, they came with the hype, but yeah, some of those judges, man, need to lay off the weed, man. They say 1 and 4. Come on now, man. It looked like it was either 2-3 in my mind. Cormier did land some big shots, and I get it. Stipe, he won like the end of a couple of those rounds. He won the end of it, but during those rounds, Cormier was doing the pounding. It's just Stipe messed up Cormier's eye at one point. Looked like he had a lazy eye. I'm like, God damn, what happened here? Besides it, I'm like, Cormier went out as a champ. Salute to the vet. And sad that we're not gonna see him no more. And it's even sadder that we can't even see a John Jones, man, and Cormier fight no longer. Damn it, John Jones. Let me get back on topic though. But the fight was good. The fight was a right fight. Do I rate it as one of the best fight in heavyweight? Nah. Like I said, the first 2 were a lot better. But yeah, like Stipe won, and you're really not gonna like. If Cormier didn't come out swinging harder, I was more surprised that Cormier not trying to do no wrestling. Like, you know him for wrestling. Like, that's the one thing I was looking forward to. I'm like, all right, if he can't get him on the ground and pound, at least get some reps and get a wrestle move going on. He didn't give us that. And that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, man. I think you hit the nail on the head, bro. Like, that fight was judged ridiculously. I did not see 4-1. I mean, I saw 3-2. I honestly could even saw Cormier getting the win. I was surprised that none of those judges had Cormier with the W. And yeah, man, that eye was bad, bro. That eye was bad, bro. Like, lazy eye, man. I feel bad for Cormier again, because it seems like no matter what he does, he doesn't get the shine that he deserves, man. They never give Daniel Cormier his flowers. T, did you check out the fight, man? What do you think about it?
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did not check out the fight. If anybody knows me, they know I'm not a huge UFC fan. If I want to see some brawling, I go to the club and watch it spill over into the let out. You know what I'm saying? But I do know I want to see John Jones as a heavyweight. I know he vacated the title as a middleweight. Back when I did watch UFC a little bit, shout out to my boy Hansel. I think that's the last time I actually went out to watch a UFC fight. But John Jones, best UFC fighter I've seen. I don't know about these Stipe Myopic and Daniel Cornishan, whatever you call these guys. but my man, but I do know Bones Jones, and I feel like I don't care what weight he fights at. If he gets his hands on those guys, they all gonna retire.
Bruh, I wish we could see Cormier versus Bones, bruh. I wish we could see that. I really do. I didn't get a chance to watch this fight either, but from what I gathered, it wasn't as close as y'all say. I mean, I think the judges probably did judge it a little off, but when I'm looking at the stats, I think Stipe I can't say this man's name. You know who I'm saying, but I think my man probably came away with it. Now, obviously, it's a lot different when you actually see the fight and you could judge it. But I mean, just looking at the strikes and the takedowns, I think G is right. Cormier should have. It looks like he didn't stick to his game, which is wrestling. That's his strong suit. So I mean, maybe if he would have stuck to that, the fight would have came out differently. But when you try to jump in somebody else's wheelhouse and that's their specialty and it's not yours, and most of the time you're gonna come out with the L.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Rome. Daniel Cormier fell in love with the stand-up game in that fight, and I think he did knock Stipe out in the first bout, so maybe he thought he could land another one of those. But it didn't work out for him, unfortunately, man. I hate to see a legend go out like that. But in my opinion, man, Cormier is still a top 5. And I'm not totally, tuned into the UFC. But in my opinion, I've seen enough. I think he's a top 5 fighter of all time in that organization, man. Maybe even like top 3, top 2. Really, if I'm ranking them, it's like, he's right up there with John Jones. Obviously, John Jones got him because he beat him, but he's right up there with those guys.
He's not better than Anderson Silva, bro. He's not better than Anderson Silva in his prime.
Anderson Silva in his prime to me is better than John Jones.
The Spider.
Personally, yeah. The Spider in his prime was doing things that none of us had ever seen at the time. But
that's what I'm saying. Cormier can't be your top 5 then, because you're talking about St. Pierre. Like, you got to throw him up there.
Got those St. Pierre.
There's some solid UFC fighters.
St. Pierre,
I would still put him in my top 5 though. I'll still put him in my top 5. I'm interested to see what the UFC does with Mijokovic. I don't know. UFC does a good job marketing their. They do a good job marketing their fighters, right? Because a lot of people didn't know these guys until they started fighting and getting dubs.
I still don't know those guys.
I'm interested in
my top 5 is Anderson Silva. I know him. Bones Jones. I know him. I don't know if Kurt Angle was in the UFC.
Brock Lesnar out here,
but he went to the Olympics.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice. Nah, let me stop. But
you're making a good point, bro. You're making a good
point. I want to see how UFC gets T involved. The UFC needs to be able to get these names to where I can pronounce them and give my man a nickname.
But that's my thing. They don't have a Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I can go out and buy a Cormier jersey. You know what I mean? So outside of like true love for combat sports, I'm not sure why I'd be tuning in.
Well, and then another thing is, even if they were to get a Mayweather, the nature of the sport. I mean, just look at Conor McGregor. He was a Mayweather. And look what happened. You run into one dude that the matchup don't fit your style, and you're going to be laid out on the canvas. So it's a tough sport to really.
That's a good point.
Ronda Rousey comes to mind.
That's a good point.
Mega popularity. You get in a fight, you get knocked out, all down the drain.
It's a wrap. And in addition to that, it's like the UFC, man, unlike any other sport, right? The UFC controls everything about the UFC. Like you in the UFC, you can't just go out and make your name because you're under contract with the UFC and they're telling you where to appear, how to appear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they got a lot of regulation there. They try and run a real tight ship. Like if you got boxing, you got 4 different organizations that hold the belts. UFC, you fighting for one single belt. You know what I mean? It's different. It's different. They got a little too much control. Those fighters don't even have a union. It's sad, man. Fighters can't even protect themselves.
Yeah, I think they need to focus more on their fighters and build them up. Like let us know who they are. I need to see more of them, their personality. That's how you're gonna fall in love with it outside of the love of combat sport. Because I'm not even that big of a Mayweather fan, but I'll listen to him talk. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to watch him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's must see. So that's really what they need.
I got a question.
See, then you guys are just talking about players. Then you guys are talking about the fighters themselves. You want the fighters to be more active with the fans, and because that's what you're saying. That's what you're basically saying. Then that has nothing to do with the UFC. Because look at John Jones. John Jones is always on Instagram. He's always posting something. Look at McGregor. McGregor will post something or say something crazy on the interview. Like look at his post interview fights. Like
I'm gonna need IG.
I want to apologize to absolutely nobody.
But
I need McGregor's IG. I need to see his IG story.
McGregor and John Jones, I mean, those aren't exactly charismatic people. I mean, I think some people find McGregor charismatic, but like he's kind of abrasive to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe it's me. They don't
even need to be charismatic. I just need to know a little bit more about them. So that way, when you get your eye all jacked up and you look like a lazy eye, I felt a little something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, I seen him playing with his son. Now he gonna be looking this way while his son running that way. Like,
and you know what? They had a little moment in the beginning when they were doing the Ultimate Fighter series. They had the show.
Yeah.
Like early on, that show was everything, man. Everybody was watching that joint. I
watched the season of that.
Yeah, you can watch the fighter get to the real stage, and it's like that kind of gets that dedication to those individual fighters. But yeah, man, it's a tough sport when you got one body governing everything. It's like they are the show. The UFC is the prize. That's the big name. It's like they're not gonna make a name bigger than let a name get bigger than UFC. Floyd Mayweather, he got bigger than boxing. Conor McGregor almost got as big as the UFC. Then when he got knocked out, they made sure they weren't gonna kind of promote him in that same way. But you're gonna have to get bigger than if you get bigger than that sport. I don't think they would stand for that.
All right. Let's
but there's other entities though, and there's still a strike force if you guys are into that. That's another form of MMA fighting. Is
Bellator.
Yeah, there you go. Bellator too is just like it just depends on where you're looking.
Let's keep it pushing, fellas. Let's go from one league that doesn't want to let people get bigger than the league to another league that doesn't normally let people get bigger than the league. Let's talk a little NFL, man. And I'm honestly very excited to talk about this because it pertains to my team, the Washington football team. And a little bit of history was made, fellas, and I'm interested to get everybody's opinion on this. So if you haven't heard, the Washington football team has hired Jason Wright to be the president of the football operation or the business side of the operations. This is historic for two reasons. One, he is the youngest person to ever hold such a position. And two, he is the first African-American to hold such a position, which is huge. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background on Jason Wright, just because I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, they hired a black guy. Is he qualified, right? You know, that question always comes up. Well, Mr. Wright has an MBA with honors from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. He worked for McKinsey & Company, which is a global strategy and consulting company, global. So is my man qualified to run a football team? He's probably overly qualified, to be honest. And a lot of people I've been reading, apparently Roger Goodell has been wanting him to be in the NFL front offices, and Snyder had been having some backdoor talks and got him to come to the Washington front office. So a lot of people are saying that this is a bigger hire because Goodell has been pushing NFL teams to get more minorities in the front office. I think they redid the Rooney Rule not too long ago. T, I think you actually spoke on that on the blog site. But yeah, man, I think this is a great hire. I don't think it's a token hire in any sense. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm very excited to see what he does. So, fellas, man, I got to hear your thoughts on this. I'm gonna start with T.
I'm a little bit more cynical because it's the Redskins. I've been around long enough to know that almost everything the Redskins touch just crumbles. And
the Redskins are dead, so I don't even know that team.
You're right.
This is the Washington football team now.
Look at that. They touched me, and I can't even say the name anymore. All right. So the Washington Football Club or football team or whatever they are. But I feel like they're trying to do this whole total rebrand. I hate the timing of it. I hate that a pandemic had to happen for this to happen. I hate that a man had to get his life squeezed out of him for this to happen. But I do like the fact that they made the move. I mean, to me, it is a token hire. But what we've seen is when you put black people in a position, I don't care if it's a token hire or not, like they can get the job done. Also, you can't lose. Like, how can you do worse than what the team was already doing? I mean, it's a win-win. You know what I'm saying? Like the team got to win about 6-7 games, and no more leaks, no more conspiracies, and you'll be fine. But I'm on the fence about this one. It's bittersweet to me.
I mean, but what is his? Okay, I get the job title, but what is he gonna do when it comes to like with the Washington? Like, what is his like? What does the job title bring?
What he's mainly gonna do, what he's mainly gonna be going after, is the stadium. That's gonna be number one. He's gonna be going after that stadium. He's gonna try to secure it in DC now that we got the name change going. Number two, ticket sales, fan experience, all the business side, all the non-football side of it. He's gonna be in charge of. He's very, very big on inclusion and bringing in the fans. So I think this whole experience is gonna be very different. But Bryce, I'm gonna let you jump in because I got some shots to go back at T. A little cynical on my squad.
Oh yeah, bro. Scorned. See, it's only the guys that are from the DC area that are the most scorned by the Redskins. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they should have been able to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, man. We are where we are, but we moving past this. We moving forward, and that's the thing. I think before we start calling things token hires and stuff like that, you gotta recognize that we're moving past an old culture, an old era. Now, maybe the black president is a token hire, right? But does that mean Julie Donaldson as the head of our communications and media was a token hire too? She's now the only female vice president, or I'm sorry, only female executive in the NFL, right? So these are major things. And not to mention, before all this went down, we hired the first black female assistant coach. Was that token? Because that happened before all this went down. See, what people don't realize is we've been turning this new leaf, but if you're not really dialed into the team, it's going to all feel like it is all out of nowhere. It's all token. But it's not. It's not, because me and Rome, we dialed in. We know what's going on, man. Hey,
what type of propaganda is this?
You know I got a cape for my squad, man. You know I wasn't gonna come over here and be like, "Oh yeah, you guys are right." Token. Nah, man. We've been trying to change the culture. We've been trying to change the narrative, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time. First black female assistant coach. That should tell you something.
Jennifer King, historic.
Yeah, that's historic, and that's before all this other stuff happened. So, let's just recognize. Let's just recognize we're trying to change this culture, man.
She's still with the team?
Yeah, and she's on the squad right now. And to piggyback off Bryce, before this even started, January, hired Ron Rivera, Hispanic head coach. One of two? Is there another minority coach right now? I think it's like 2 or 3 other minority coaches right now. So Washington, in all honesty, right now is the most diverse team in the NFL by far. Like Bryce just said, we got Julie Donaldson, woman executive, Jennifer King, first black female coach. We just got the black president. I mean, come on now. Like you can be cynical and you can say that these are token hires, considering all the stuff all the stuff that's going around the team with the sexual allegations, the racist name and all that. You could say it's real easy to sit and be cynical and say, same old Washington and they're just doing this for show. But if not now, then when? If we're not going to turn a new leaf, or if we're going to turn a new leaf, why not now? You know what I mean? Like, it has to start somewhere. So I get it. And I'll even say this, because I'm going to even take the conversation a little deeper in a second. I'll even say this. Dan Snyder has to stay out the way. All these hires are great, but historically, Dan Snyder tends to still find a way to insert himself. If Dan Snyder can stay out of the way, all these hires are going to be just as great as they are on their face value.
Bro, you know who you guys sound like and look like? The Knicks. If James Dolan stay out the way, yo.
Remember last time? Nah, man, I'm not taking those Knicks comparisons. We're nothing like the Knicks, bro. We're nothing.
No. Y'all had like a private island where y'all with your cheerleader. If I'm not mistaken, the reports alleged reports.
Okay.
All those executives are gone. All those people are gone.
Yeah, and Gerardo. That was the Redskins that did that. We the Washington football team. That was the Redskins, bro.
Oh my God.
We're the Washington football team now.
There are 12 women suing the Washington football team that would say that.
Excuse me. It was 13, and they were suing the Redskins. All right. I suing the Washington football team.
Oh my gosh.
All those lawsuits is on the old name.
These guys.
Nah, go ahead.
Nah, bro. These guys are a joke, man. Like, making some splash hires is no different than what they've done when they made the splash signings every summer, winning the offseason. It's the same. It's in the same vein. Like, your fans are happy. Are you two fans? Are you two happy? Yes. Will we see the results? I'm going to bet no.
Okay. Well, time out. What results should we see from these hires, though? Because these aren't necessarily on the field hires. My man Jason Wright has nothing to do with what's going to happen on the field. So if we come out here and we're 2-14 and we get a new stadium in DC and it's the most lit stadium in all the NFL, that's still a dub. That's still a dub on Jason's side.
Currently, FedEx Field is one of the worst football experiences you can have.
Which is why he's getting us a new one, bro.
Right.
That's why it's happening.
If the new one is as bad as the old one, we know he didn't get the job done. And
but see, that's that cynicism. See, it's just everything Washington does is going to turn out bad.
What I'm going on? Why are we betting against the streak?
AOC, you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to new stadium, bro. You can't fuck that up.
What are you talking about? Why are we giving them the bet?
Look at the Raiders' new stadium. Like, you can't.
What has this franchise done to deserve the benefit of any doubt? Can I?
Well,
Can you
Make all
name?
the right hires.
We're not asking for the benefit of the doubt, man. But what you got to like, all I'm asking is, you know what? To guys like you, the Redskins can never do anything right. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter who they hire, it's just, oh, they just hired them for that. They hired them for this. So I get it. And if that's, if that's how you view the franchise, I can understand why someone would view it like that, especially someone that's from the DC area that probably wanted to once upon a time root for the Redskins, but couldn't bring themselves to it because they weren't winning the way they wanted to see. I get it. I think you're scoring, bro. A little bit, bro.
So before
team now, man. Come on, man. We got
before we switch to the next little topic real quick, I want to bring up something real quick. All right. So obviously T, a lot of people agree with T, right? It's not like T coming out of left field. A lot of people feel this way about the Washington team. And it has in large part to do with Daniel Snyder. And I was talking to someone the other day, because the minority owners are trying to get Snyder to sell the team still. So he brought up to me, a friend of mine brought up, what if he sold the team to Jay-Z? Now, we know that Jay-Z has had some connections in the NFL. He's talking to Goodell. He's interested in buying the team. Now, he wouldn't have to buy the whole team. He just needs to get a stake in it. Now, T, would that be another token hire if Daniel Snyder sells the team to Jay-Z? Is that some more tokenism, or is that a possibility to see some real change, the first black owner?
Well, one thing we know already, Jay-Z broke up the dynasty. All right. You know what I'm saying? So it's another bad move to me. Yeah.
Oh, bro, what do they need to do, bro? What do they need to do?
I mean, I think everyone agrees to get rid of Snyder, right? But at the same time, you have to make the progress in these little steps, and you have to just let people like me be cynics. And you have to show me, you know what I'm saying? You can't talk me, you can't hire me into believing you. You have to show me day by day, week by week, brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? You have to rebuild that foundation that you destroyed in my childhood.
So
that's fair.
Hey,
that's fair. I'll take that.
Bring that up. But hey, so when they start to rebuild that foundation by bringing in a new president, hiring a new head coach, and things like that, those don't count, right?
No, because that's those are a few bricks. That's not the entire building. I need everybody to be on the same accord. You look at the Patriots. I mean, even if they have a Aaron Hernandez there, they figure out a way to make it work. The Redskins have no ability to make anything work right now. And I get that they're trying, and I'll give them credit for trying, I guess. I mean,
all right, that's all I wanted.
I guess.
So look, T, to me, it sounds like you're not going to be able to judge anything that the Redskins have done until about 2 seasons from now.
Yeah, I can't judge it in real time. It has to have already happened for me to say, I see what you did there.
No, I get that, and I respect that. And I also feel like that same kind of thought process should be taken to all teams, whether your track record is good or not. Because I mean, that's kind of the track record. That's kind of the thought process I take when I see a hire. I try not to judge it on his face. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard somebody talking about the Cowboys getting Mike McCarthy, and is that a huge upgrade? It's like, I don't know, because all I know is that Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl 7 years ago. I can't call what he's going to be for this team. I got to see it. So I do respect that. I definitely respect that, man. You got to see it. Results are the ultimate deciding factor.
I mean, I look at it like this. The Redskins have created so much ill will, akin to a Trump. What would Trump, like, how much would Trump have to do for you to say, all right, this guy, I like this guy now. You know what I'm saying?
No, bro. We got to stop now, bro. We got to, I can't let you compare my squad to Trump, bro. No, we're not doing that. No, we aren't that bad. We aren't that far gone, bro. Nah.
I don't agree with that.
Oh my gosh.
There is no redemption for that man. That man that you just brought up, it ain't no redemption, bro. We gonna get redemption.
Okay.
And on top of that, man, I think that the Redskins, don't get me wrong, we've been bad, but people talk about the Redskins like we've been the worst team in the league. We haven't. We've actually been, there's probably 5, 6, 7 teams over the past 20 years that have been worse than the Redskins. So a lot of teams got this process messed up, man, and they ain't easy to win in the NFL. Even teams that do win is a flash in the pan. A team might go to the Super Bowl and then they out of it for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's tough.
You know what? you're right, because the Dolphins have been worse than the Redskins, right?
Dolphins, the Lions, the Jets.
You know, but you know what?
Jaguars.
You don't find a smiling, happy-go-lucky Dolphins fan. You see a bunch of these Redskin fans.
You don't live in Miami. You don't live in Miami, man.
I've been to Miami. I've been to Miami. You know what I'm saying?
You live here, so you don't feel these fans. You don't feel my optimism. You don't feel this optimism, man.
Got a top 5 worst fan base too. Like, come on,
bro. Come on, bro.
Top 5 worst?
Easily.
Hey, we the most loyal.
What is fan short for?
Fanatic.
Exactly. We are that definition.
Nah,
we beat that to a T. We beat that to a T, bro. To a T.
It might be short for fentanyl because y'all on drugs.
All right, man. Let's hop off my squad, man. We taking too much heat, man. This is supposed to be a positive. Shout out to Jason Wright, man. We're all excited for the first black president in the NFL. That's a big deal, no matter how you slice it. But let's keep it pushing, fellas. Let's keep it pushing. Dez Bryant, man, he's trying to make a return, man. He's trying to make a comeback. I believe he had a workout with the Ravens this week. So, fellas, Dez Bryant, man, what shot are y'all giving him to catch on with a team this season?
0.
0. I agree with you completely, man. Dez is done. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. He's coming off that Achilles injury, and he ain't played in the NFL for 3 years. So I'm right there with you. 0.
If Jason Witten got a job as the slowest tight end in the world last year, I mean, this Brian could probably get a job doing something. Shit, Antonio Brown still hasn't got picked up yet, and we know he's gonna be sitting out for half of the season, right? So until AB gets picked up, I don't see Dez Bryant getting picked up.
I'm not gonna give him I'm not gonna give him a 0%. Anything can happen. We just saw Gronk come back, but I'm definitely gonna give Dez Bryant under 50. I'll go for the 25%, only because I think this COVID has kind of changed things. Where at least you know what you're getting with a Dez Bryant, and I think if the Ravens are missing anything, it's a red zone threat on the outside. And I mean, they have a bunch of tight ends, but they don't have a guy that can line up outside and catch the fade or run that slant and box a guy out. I think it's a perfect fit. I don't know if that quarterback can get him the ball, but I like that landing spot if they give him a fair shake. I'm pretty sure he's in good shape. He doesn't have to do much. They run the ball 95% of the game like Little League. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, you brought up a good point with the COVID, because I think the rosters are going to be a little bit deeper. So he probably does have a stronger chance of making it this season than another season. But Bryce, what you think about Dez, man?
I don't know, man. T told me he don't got a guy that give him the ball. That same guy led the league in touchdowns last season. So I don't know about all that. But I will say, man, Dez Bryant looked to be semi-washed the last time we saw him, but I don't think the chemistry was necessarily right with the quarterback, which was Dak Prescott at the time. That's one guy, man, as a Redskins fan, we don't usually like any Cowboys, but I always did like Dez Bryant's game, mainly because he played with that fire, man. Something about guys that play with that fire I respect. And I think if Dez Bryant is what he says he is now, and that is a guy that only cares about winning, is over the me stage, this could work. And maybe it takes having to sit out and no team wanting you for you to realize that it's all about winning. It's all about W's. Let's not forget. I mean, he hasn't had any super outlandish incidents like Antonio Brown. You know what I'm saying? He's not, don't get me wrong, AB is my guy, but we haven't seen him in that light. You know what I mean? All we've seen from Dez really is a guy that really, really wants to be successful. Now, if he can parlay that self-wanting success into team-wanting success, hey, man, the Ravens could be the perfect fit. And I could see him being the perfect red zone threat for a guy like Lamar Jackson, who already thrives in the red zone. It'd almost be like having another Mark Andrews out there.
Hey, well, one thing is definitely for sure, man. Dez has definitely been working hard. I don't know if y'all follow him on Twitter or IG or social media at all, but he's definitely been putting in the work. So, I mean, best of luck to him. I don't give him the best shot of making it, but definitely best of luck because he's definitely been putting in the work. But let's keep talking about these Cowboys, man. They had a pretty huge and significant injury to Gerald McCoy, who I believe tore his quad and then subsequently got released after that. I think they still paid him. I think it was like a waiver for injury kind of thing. So what are your thoughts on that, man? Bryce, I'm gonna start with you. Gerald McCoy hurt and then cut. Is that fair or foul?
Man, it's hard to call if it's fair or foul. He got his check, so I guess I got to say fair. He signed the deal. But man, the first thing I can't stop thinking about is quad, bro. Like, what would that feel like to tear a quad, man? That's a real pivotal muscle. You use the quad without even thinking about it. It's like, man, that I know that had to hurt. That's all I could think, man. That had to hurt.
Yeah, I saw the video, man. He fell right over, bro. It looked like he was in some serious pain. T, man, is that fair or foul, man? My man tears his whole quad, and then there's like, here's your money, bye.
I mean, look, it's the NFL, man. Your best ability is availability. I'll say it to you know what I'm saying, as long as there's football. But I think the Cowboys kind of took a hit there, but they still have a tough defensive line. But I was anxious to see with Everson Griffin on one side, DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side, next to Dontari Poe. They brought my man Alden Smith back. Randy Gregory's back. They got the guys hopped up on the drugs coming on the outside too. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Nah, on a serious note, that's a big injury, but I do think it's fair. Gotta let him go, man. If he can't play, why you taking up cap space?
Yeah, that's the game. AG, man, fair or foul?
Fair, man. This is the name of the NFL, right? It's business, right? Like T said, availability is the best ability in the NFL right now, right? Especially with COVID. It's just like you really can't have a roster spot for someone that is not coming back, right? And on top of that, Corey is like past his prime. My man's like what, 10 years in the league already?
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Hey, so
yeah.
I'm gonna go a little different, man. I think it's a little foul, and I'm gonna tell you why. Mostly for what G just said, because I think they really only cut him because of his age. A lot of the times you can just put a guy on IR, that frees up a roster spot. You paid him anyway. So what that tells me is they were all in for him on this season, and they're trying to make a serious playoff push. They don't really see him as a future piece.
Yeah,
but in the same token, it is fair because, like y'all said, it's a business. That's how the NFL goes. You got to know that going into it.
I mean, that quad is going to be tougher to rehab than an ACL. I mean, that's a pivotal, really substantial muscle, and to rupture it, like, I mean, he's done. I don't think he'll play football again, to be honest with you.
That was actually going to be my next question. Do y'all think he's done? T, you said he's done. Bryce, you see McCoy playing another down?
I don't know, man. It's tough to call that. You know, you never know with this new age medicine if a guy will be able to bounce back. I mean, I definitely hope the best for him, though. I do hope the best for him. He's been a dog his whole career. You know what I mean? Like straight dog, certified. So I hope the best for him, man. But like T just said, man, it's a quad. I've never even pulled my quad. I played sports my whole life. I done pulled hammies. I done hurt calves. I've never once hurt my quad. Like, I don't even know how that would feel, and I don't even want to know. So, hey, best wishes to him, man, for sure.
Hey, G, man, you think that's his final down? I mean, we live in a world where even Alex Smith came back. So you think that's it for McCoy?
Well, is Alex Smith really back though? Or you guys y'all gonna let him play?
He's back. He's out there at training camp. He had the shoulder pads on today.
You're lying. For what team?
Yeah, he running 7-on-7 with the threes.
For what team?
The Washington football team. He out there with them pads, bro.
Oh my God! What is you guys? What is your guys' fantasy with like quarterbacks with bad legs? Like you had him, RG3. You ain't learned from RG3. What is going on?
Hey, but I got a question for you guys, man, because this kind of just making me think about something. Like, what if this wasn't a quad and he still got cut? What if his injury was COVID? What happens when a guy gets COVID and they got to be quarantined for 2 weeks and the team looks at him like, we need this roster spot, there's no need of us paying you. Like, I don't know, man. Is there any language written into this season to protect these guys? If someone else, I can see Bill Belichick doing it ASAP. You got COVID? Cut it.
That's a good point, man. I'm gonna have to look into that one. I have to figure that one out, man.
Belichick gonna say he was irresponsible to the team.
Right? I mean, look, I've wanted to cut a guy for dropping a pass. So I'll cut you for raising your temperature.
Oh my God. Not really though. It's like you come in with a 99, bro. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got.
Yeah. Imagine giving Tom Brady Corona. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go, bro.
You got to go.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, man, that 2-week quarantine for a lot of these players that aren't like guaranteed a spot, like if you get it during camp, you basically are cut. You
And
just cut yourself. You're not earning a spot.
That's an eighth of the season once the regular season starts. You miss 2 weeks. You miss week 1 and 2. Like you really hurt us. You really hurt us with that. So I don't know. I can see you getting to that, man. I hope it doesn't. You know, because I want everybody to get their chicken. But I don't know, man. I can see it happening.
They're gonna have to take T's advice, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But I'm gonna just get us to our final segment. You know, we always like to do something that's a little outside of sports. This one's still within sports. It's a little, you'll see, y'all see, man. But this segment right here, man, we're gonna do a guys top 5, and this is a interesting one. Top 5 sports that aren't sports. You know what I'm saying? So if you're out there, you know what I'm saying, think about that for a second. Top 5 sports that aren't sports. Hey, jump ball, man. Who wants to throw their top 5 sports that aren't sports out there?
I started croquet. I think that's not a sport.
I think that's a food, bruh.
But for me, I find that the bootleg baseball, or because I'm like, so you pitch the ball or you throw what? And that's one. My other one would be polo or the racehorse. Damn, I'm like, what the fuck? Why I need you to ride the horse for? I'm like, all right.
I think we're mixing up sports a little bit. I think we.
I don't even know.
Or is it what the hell?
Oh, we got polo, like the man on your shirt. Some of y'all got USPA.
Yeah.
And the water riding seahorse.
And then we got the water polo. You know what I'm saying? That's in the Olympics.
No, I'm talking about the polo, the one in the horse. The like,
horse ride, okay.
And then what's my other one? My other one would be like, what's the one in the Olympics where like they're trying to like stop the little puck from landing somewhere, like
curling.
Yeah, curling.
Curling.
Like, what's the point of that?
I don't know, but it's fun to watch.
Bro, it's like me watching my mom sweep or watching someone sweep. I'm like, you trying to shine something? Bro, what is going on? Bro, that was never fun as a kid. Damn sure ain't fun as an adult. That's 3. My last 2. What would be my last 2? Man, something as a sport, but really not a sport. Poker.
Poker? That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's just gambling right there. I'm like, damn, bro, you just fucking losing your money and shit. That shit not a sport if you gotta lose your money.
That's a game of skill. I love poker, but it's not a sport.
What's the thrill in that? And then my last one. Damn, what would be my last one on this one? What's a sport that's not a sport?
I don't know. We might need you to marinate on that, G. Go ahead, man.
I got 5, man. I got 5. I think y'all like these 5, and it might be some fans of these sports that might get a little sensitive because you might think that they're real sports, but I'm here to tell you that they are not. So I'm about to name my top 5 sports that aren't real sports. Coming in at number 5 for me is the spelling bee, the national spelling bee. I don't know if you've ever seen it on ESPN or you've seen the clips where the kids are passing out. Spelling bees aren't real sports. But I'll be damned if you tell me those kids aren't competitive as hell, bruh. There's a lot of practice that goes into that. Those parents get into it. It is mad competitive. And I'm a horrible speller, but I love watching the spelling bee off the competition alone.
Yeah, it's not Microsoft Word into that, man. They just throw a little red line. You right click, you good, man.
I'm not worried about it no more. I'm good. But number 4, I actually switched this one. And this one might offend some people. Bowling. I do not consider bowling a sport at all. I know someone who used to bowl, and they used to act like they were on a sport team, but I'm here to let you know you never played sports, bro. You just went to the bowling alley and played a really fun game with your teammates. But bowling is cool. I like it. I enjoy it. It's competitive, but it's not a sport. Number 3, I put this one ahead of bowling because I think it's a little bit more fun than bowling. G, you mentioned it, and that's poker. If you've seen that on ESPN as well, the World Series of Poker.
They have a World Series.
Really competitive. However, it is still not a sport. It's a game of skill, like you said, T. But it's not a sport, man. There's no defense. I can't stop you from doing what you're doing. It's also a little bit of game, a chance slightly too. But let's keep it pushing, man, because I think this next one's going to offend some people too, man. And that's number 2, and it's golf. Golf is not a sport, bro. Y'all can argue with me with this one till the cows come home, bro. And I'll agree with you on some points. Golf takes a ton of skill. Swinging that golf stick to hit the golf ball and actually being accurate with it and getting it far and all that takes talent. Tiger Woods is incredible. A lot of those golfers are incredible. They're not really sports players, in my opinion, or athletes. But yeah, golf is a cool game, not a sport. And number 1, and personally, I kind of hope this does make somebody out there mad. My number 1 sport that is not a sport is NASCAR. Y'all are not athletes. Y'all are not. This is not a sport. This is racing, bro. Like I can get in my car. We can go race right now. We can go race right now, bro. We don't like. It's not a sport. I'm sorry. Like I can find a closed course out here. I know some guys with some fast cars. We can go race anytime, bro. But it's cool. I get it. It makes a lot of money. People enjoy it. I'm kind of getting into NASCAR a little bit. Shout out to Bubba Wallace for the first time in my life. But it's my number 1 sport. That's not really a sport. NASCAR.
No, I feel you, man. Y'all make a sport out of finding the people that made that noose, man. I feel you.
There you go.
Bryce, what you got, man? What you got in your top 5?
I ain't gonna hold you. Rome stole a little bit of my thunder, but I expected that to go down for sure. So I'm gonna start with number 5, man. And honestly, this should probably be up a little higher, but just the ridiculousness of it, I couldn't even consider it as my top. Man, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, man.
Bro, the Glizzy Wars.
Man.
The Glizzy Wars.
Extraordinaires, man. These glizzy experts. These guys.
Glizzy gladiators.
Glizzy Hall of Famers, man. Hey, I got no respect for a Glizzy Hall of Famer, man. I'm sorry. Man. Yo, another thing is, man, every year, man, these guys get the biggest trophy I've ever seen, man. Like, let's keep trophies reserved for sports, please. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't just get a trophy for having a good week at work or, you know what I'm saying, dropping your kids off at school. Like, man, trophies are for sports, not for eating hot dogs. Number 5 is the glizzy game that is Nathan's hot dog contest. Number 4, man. Y'all know I love the UFC and y'all know I love boxing even more. But you know what's not a sport? That bare knuckle shit is not a sport, bruh. 2 mamas just getting, you know what that is? A street fight. A street fight is not a sport, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, every time I see it, and at first, when it was like not too much going on, they was on ESPN a little bit trying to market it to me like an actual sport. When these dudes' eyeballs is gouging out their head and they lip hanging off their face. Look, man, I love combat sports. No one loves them more than me. But the bare knuckles, man, keep that in the streets, man. I don't need to see that on the ESPNs of the world. Number 3, everybody on this one, man, I think poker. Poker's not a sport, dog. I'm sorry. Sorry, man. It has absolutely nothing to do with your physical ability. There's absolutely no way we can counter the sport. Mental, I get it. You know, the mental aspect of sports is a big thing. But sports also involve using your body in a physical way to be successful or to score or to do something. And, you know, doing this, it ain't enough to be a sport to me. I'm sorry. Number 2, man. Now, if y'all some real ESPN heads and you was on ESPN at 3 a.m. like I was back in the day, or up the early morning, you know, the 8:30 a.m. shift, y'all used to see a whole bunch of bass fishing. That shit is not a sport. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, I love it when they pull out a big 10-pound bass and that don't mouth this big. And, you know, I love it. But you know what it's not? It's not a sport, bro. Absolutely not a sport. I think it's cool. I love fishing. I grew up fishing. But not for 1 second is that a sport to me. And that's another one where the trophies they get, man, those are some big ass trophies for them not to be a sport. I don't know, man. I got a lot of questions about that. And number 1, man, Ron Marty said it. Hey, NASCAR, I hate to break it, but you're not a sport, and this is why. Man. The best car always wins, bro. Like, and you got a Civic, I'm going to win. I'm going to win 9 times out of 10. Unless I don't get it. Like, yo, if you pay it like Rome said, he starting to pay attention to NASCAR. I had a moment where I paid attention to every sport, and NASCAR was on the list. And every single week, bro, like literally every week, the car that tested the best in the little pre-test is the car that wins. So it's like, are these drivers even doing anything, or is it just how much money you have behind your name? Getting on one of these big teams like Joe Gibbs Racing or what is it, Henrich Racing, whatever it is, man. Like, you get on one of those teams and you set because they got the money to put behind you. But it's damn sure not a sport, man. And if anybody wanna prove me wrong, put me behind one of those cars. I'm gonna show you how to whip that jump.
Hey.
All you doing is turning left.
Shit.
Hey.
Go over sport.
You put Formula 1 in there too?
Nah, all them driving joints ain't sports, man.
Yeah. Formula 1. Hey, I will say though, that joint's a little more intense, in my opinion. Now, at least you got to swerve around. They barely even swerve around anybody like in NASCAR. It's like straight shot. Like you said, T, just a left turn. Not a sport. Not a sport for me. It doesn't do it. Great game. Bro. It's a great game.
All right. So I'm gonna do my top 5, and this one's gonna offend some people, and I know it's a lot of girl dads. That's real popular these days, but I'm sorry. Your little sunshine, cheerleading is not a sport.
Oh shit!
It's not a sport. It's at its best, it's elite. It's elite dancing. If that's the case, them girls down in Magic City are athletes too.
Some of them might be.
Like, not fired.
Like, there's no one booing. You know what I'm saying? Like, your hairstyle matters. You know what I'm saying? Bows and bow rats matter. It's not a sport, man. It's not a sport. It's not even fun to watch, honestly. My number 4, Rome, you said it, bowling. Look, if a 300-pound man with high blood sugar can dominate, you know what I'm saying? If I could beat you with a cheese stick in my hand, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite things about bowling. Give me a mozzarella cheese stick. I don't want to go if I can't get the food. But it's not a sport. It's a game. It's a game. Number 3, hey, Bryce, I'm right with you. Fishing. That is not a sport. You know what I'm saying? That's something you do when, you know, you got a lot in your mind and you want to be one with nature and all that. That's hunting. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sport. It takes no athletic ability to fish. They got fish finders. If I'm a little older than y'all, but if you ever had a car with manual windows, you can fish. It's the same motion. You know, it's the same motion.
Right.
If you're too cheap to get power windows, you're not an athlete. If you're Fisher, you know, you're an Engelman or whatever you want to call yourself, you're not an athlete. All right. Number 2, man. And they got this one in the Olympics, so I don't get it. Table tennis is not a sport. All right. It's a dope summer camp game. It's an elite summer camp game. But I never in my life has somebody hit me like, hey, you trying to run a game of ping pong? Like, never. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sport, not a video game. They even make fishing video games. Yeah. You got no table tennis video game. It's a game, and take it out the Olympics. Stop wasting people's time and money. All right. My number 1, and you don't see too many of us doing it, for a lot of different reasons, but surfing. How is this a sport, man? It's not a sport. Like, again, no defense. Like, you can't hit a crowd. The only away team might be a shark. Like, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a sport, man. Like, a bad game of surfing is a refreshing swim. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not a sport, man. It's not a sport. And that's my top 5, you know what I'm saying, sports that aren't sports. I agree with y'all with the NASCAR too, but you know, my 5, I just had a little bit more hate for.
That was a good 5, man. But that cheerleader topic, bro, man, I hope these girl dads don't come at you online, bro. Those cheerleaders, man, I've been to a few competitions, man. They be coming for people. They don't like when you. I actually took them off my list for that exact reason. They don't like to get slandered as a non-sport.
If you think your daughter's an athlete because she's throwing girls in the air, I mean, I got a circus she could join. Like, just you know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Like it's just, I mean, I almost threw gymnastics out there. I mean, it's really just elite dancing. That's real. If you see it,
you know what? I think we on to something right now, fellas. Is what constitutes a sport, man. I feel like you got to at least have one physical activity that leads to a victory. You know, it leads to some sort of scoring, at least some sort of points, right?
Yeah.
I think T brought up another good one with defense. If it's no defense, you got to have an opponent, right?
Yeah, no defense, no sport.
So individual sports, you know what I'm saying? We not really rocking with the individual sports.
I don't think it's a sport that you can do individually. Like, I mean, if you get a basketball right now and it's just you and you go to the court and you're shooting around. You're not playing basketball. Like, I mean, you're technically playing, but you're shooting around, bro. Like you're not.
So what if I added some judges to judge my style and the way I wear my wristbands? That you know what I'm saying?
Still not a sport unless I don't know. It's still not a sport because no one can. If no one's defending you, if no one's preventing you from getting your goal, then I just can't consider it a sport. Which is why I got golf on the list.
If the defense is air, and people are losing to the air defense, it's not a sport.
Okay.
Nah.
What about I got a question. T, you big in the track. What about shot put, discus? You know what I'm saying? These are individual sports, you know, where it's like
no. Track those are individual events, man. Racing is a sport. Racing
is not a sport. Whether you're on a car, a horse, or yourself, racing is not a sport.
Human racing is not a sport.
No,
I mean,
okay.
Track is a fringe. I'm biased.
Oh, come on, man. You can't say track is fringe and then put cheerleading on the list.
According to your criteria, I don't think you have a sport here, bro.
All right, you got me. They're all sports.
Hey, yo, it's all sports. Basketball, football, baseball, and what? Soccer, that's it? Is that all we got?
Hockey's a good one. Volleyball's a sport.
Volleyball.
I'm excited to see what the people think about this one, man, because I think this is a good one that really get people talking. Hey, if you guys are watching this, comment and let us know what is the definition of a sport. I gotta know.
Yeah, definitely, man. And if you got a top 5 sports that aren't sports, let us know in the comments as well. And if you disagree with us, don't come too hard for my man T for that cheerleading comment. But yeah, you can disagree in the comments.
Hey, man, your cheerleader daughter, if she's an athlete, I'll probably see her, you know what I'm saying, my son's game playing the real sport. And then we can have words there. But excellent show, fellas. As always, man, I'm glad that I enjoyed the night with y'all. Last update, Portland is beating the Lakers. But
how much?
2 minutes left, 4-point game. But follow us on every single platform, man. Wherever you find your podcast, IG, Twitter, follow us individually. Our ads are right there, man. This is good ass sports. Go to the website, read the blogs. When football starts, we'll have fantasy updates for you. You won't be a loser in your fantasy league again. We are good ass sports, man. Anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, most definitely, man. Any Washington football team fans out there that might be listening, peep the Hell to the Culture podcast is definitely on a good ass sports app. Like T said, man, it's available everywhere, so it's no reason that you can't get it.
Hey, let me go ahead, lead us out. Let me hear y'all say sports for the culture.
Sports for the culture.
Sports for the culture.